You've been told your entire life that carbs are the problem. Doctors, trainers, even the media repeat it like a chant. Cut carbs, starve cancer. Eliminate carbs, protect your health. It sounds convincing, it feels logical, but it is only half the story. And when you only hear half the truth, you are left defenseless, vulnerable, and often messled into choices that don't serve your body's ability to heal. The reality is far more nuanced, and the truth is this: not all carbs are the same. Some harm you, others are designed by nature to protect you, to fortify your immune system, to shut down the very pathways that cancer cells need to survive. And once you understand this difference, it is impossible to look at food the same way again. Let's take a moment to really break this down. When we think of carbs, what usually comes to mind? Bread, pasta, cookies, candy, soda, the highly refined, industrially processed foods that sit on grocery store shelves with a shelf life longer than most of us want to admit. Those carbs are stripped of their natural nutrients, and what remains is pure sugar that your body absorbs quickly, spiking insulin, fueling inflammation, and yes, giving cancer cells exactly the energy source they thrive on. But this is not the entire picture of carbohydrates. It is the manipulated version of them. Now shift your perspective. Think of blueberries, blackberries, apples, whole oats, lentils, sweet potatoes. These are also carbohydrates, but they come packaged with fiber, antioxidants, vitamins, minerals, plant compounds so powerful that they act like microscopic warriors inside your body. When you eat these natural carbs, you aren't feeding cancer. You are starving it. You are triggering processes within your body that science has shown can literally cut off the blood supply tumors need to expand. This process has a name: angiogenesis. Cancer cannot survive without creating new blood vessels. Certain foods, many of them rich in natural carbohydrates, contain molecules that block this process, turning off the switch that cancer tries so desperately to flip. But it goes deeper than just blood vessels. Natural carbs activate your immune system in ways that processed foods never can. They fuel your gut microbiome, and that microbiome, in turn, produces compounds that train your immune cells to recognize and attack invaders, including cancer cells. So the very carbs you've been taught to fear might actually be your greatest ally in building the inner army that keeps disease at bay. Here's where the philosophy of this becomes important. You see, fear is a powerful tool. And when people are afraid of a category of food, often make extreme choices that leave their bodies deprived of the very weapons needed for defense. Imagine someone eliminating all carbs out of fear. They cut out the soda and the candy, which is good, but they also cut out the berries, the beans, the whole grains that science has shown lower cancer risk and enhance survival. That fear-driven decision weakens them. The tragedy isn't just in the science, it's in the psychology. Because when you live in fear of your food, you disconnect from one of the most powerful truths. Food is medicine. And this is why this message shocks so many people. Flips fear on its head. The carbs you thought were your enemy may, in fact, be your salvation. What the body needs is not restriction, it's precision. It's not about removing entire food groups, it's about choosing the right sources. It's about being strategic, intentional, and deeply aware of how every bite communicates with your biology. Think of it this way: your body is in constant conversation with what you eat. Every meal sends a message. When you consume refined, processed carbs, the message is chaos, uncontrolled growth, inflammation, vulnerability. But when you choose nature's carbs, the message is order, balance, defense. You are literally programming your body to heal. This is the kind of wisdom hidden in plain sight, yet buried under decades of marketing, industry influence, and half-truths repeated until they become gospel. I want you to reflect on this. Cancer is intelligent. It adapts. It finds ways to survive. It hijacks your biology to serve its own growth. But it is not invincible. Nature designed countermeasures built into the very foods that grow from the earth. When you consume these foods, you aren't just eating. You are activating your own defenses, reclaiming control and standing toe to toe with disease. That is the shocking truth about carbs. They are not one enemy, but two faces. One destroys, the other heals. One feeds weakness, the other fuels strength, and the choice is always in your hands. So the next time you hear someone say, carbs cause cancer, I want you to pause. I want you to question. And then I want you to remember this. The right carbs don't feed cancer. They starve it. The right carbs don't weaken you. They turn your body into a fortress. The right carbs aren't the enemy. They are the hidden allies you've been overlooking. And here's the closing truth. You don't need to live in fear of food. You need to live in alignment with it. Because when you align your choices with nature's design, you are not just eating, you are healing. When most people think about cancer, they imagine a rogue mass of cells growing out of control, something foreign that suddenly appears in the body and begins to spread. That image, while partly true, is far too simplistic. Cancer is not just a growth, it is a master of manipulation. It doesn't simply exist, it survives by hijacking your biology, bending the natural systems of your body to serve its own survival. It is cunning, it is adaptive. The greatest trick it plays is convincing you, and even your doctors, that it is always one step ahead. But here's what changes the game. Cancer is not the only intelligent system at work in your body. Your own biology has defense mechanisms that are just as sophisticated, just as adaptable, and when activated properly, far more powerful than the disease itself. Now here's the shocking truth most people never hear. Food is not passive. Food is active information. Every single bite you take sends instructions directly into your cells, into your immune system, into your blood vessels. It tells your body how to behave. It tells your genes when to switch on or off. It tells your microbiome how to grow and how to interact with your immune system. And the body listens. Every meal is a conversation. Cancer knows this. It feeds on the wrong instructions, the distorted messages sent by processed, nutrient-stripped food. Here's the breakthrough. You can change that conversation. You can send new instructions, healing instructions through the foods you choose. Think about this. When you eat refined sugar, you send a signal that raises insulin and inflammation. Cancer thrives in that chaos, like a parasite feeding on disorder. But when you eat a bowl of blueberries, you send a completely different message. Those natural compounds in the fruit signal your body to build stronger blood vessels in healthy tissue and, at the same time, deny tumors the oxygen and nutrients they crave. This isn't magic. This is science. This is angiogenesis under your control. This is your immune system being fine-tuned by molecules hidden in food that have been waiting for you to discover them. This is where the psychology becomes crucial, because when people think of food as nothing more than calories or carbs or proteins, strip away its meaning. They disconnect from its power. But when you recognize food as information, as medicine, as strategy, suddenly every choice you make becomes an act of empowerment. Suddenly, the plate in front of you isn't just breakfast, lunch, or dinner. It is a battlefield. It is your defense system in motion. It is the difference between fueling cancer or starving it. And the moment you realize this, fear begins to lose its grip. Philosophically, this challenges us to rethink our relationship with food altogether. For too long, we've been conditioned to see food as indulgence or guilt, as comfort or temptation, as something that dictates our waistline but not our destiny. But food is destiny. Food shapes the landscape in which cancer either thrives or withers. When you see it that way, you stop eating mindlessly. You begin to eat intentionally, and intention is where transformation begins. Here's something most people never think about. Cancer cells are desperate. They are constantly seeking ways to outsmart your defenses, to hide from your immune system, blood vessels that feed them in secret. But when you align your choices with nature's blueprint, you take away their hiding places. You expose them. You cut off their supply lines. You strengthen your immune soldiers to recognize them, attack them, and dismantle them. Suddenly, cancer is not the predator. it becomes the prey. And this is the empowerment people rarely feel when they hear the word cancer. Too often, the diagnosis comes with despair, with the belief that the body has failed, that the only option is external intervention, drugs, or surgery. But the body is not broken. The body is extraordinary. The body is constantly recalibrating, constantly defending, constantly seeking balance. All it needs is the right instructions, and food provides them. Think about how radical this is. Instead of living in fear of cancer, you can live in alignment with the forces that starve it, instead of asking, what if this food feeds the disease? You begin to ask, what if this food awakens my healing? That shift in thinking changes not only your biology, but your psychology. It gives you agency, strength, resilience. It replaces hopelessness with strategy. And here's the powerful truth I want you to carry with you. Cancer may be intelligent, but it is not invincible. Your body is not helpless. With every bite, you hold in your hands the power to either fuel the enemy or to empower your defense. You are not a victim of chance. You are an active participant in your own recovery. So remember this the next time you sit down to eat. You are not just feeding yourself. You are writing instructions into your biology. And those instructions determine whether disease grows stronger or weaker. Choose wisely, because food is not passive. It is your most powerful weapon. There's another layer of truth about food and cancer that very few people ever stop to consider. And it may be the most important one of all. Cancer, at its core, is a disease of survival. It does not want to die. It does everything it can to resist destruction, to adapt, to trick your body into protecting it instead of eliminating it. It is clever. Here's what most people don't realize. Cancer's cleverness depends on your silence. It thrives when you don't know the rules of the game. It thrives when you eat blindly, when you follow fear instead of knowledge, when you assume your choices don't matter. The moment you begin to live with awareness, the moment you understand that food can rewrite the rules, the game changes entirely. Now, here's where the science meets something deeper. Certain natural foods don't just provide energy. Flip genetic switches inside your cells. Turn off the instructions that cancer tries to use to grow and turn on the instructions that promote repair and healing. This is not abstract. It's reality. Your body is programmed with systems that can detect faulty cells and destroy them before they cause harm. That's happening inside you right now. The reason many people never know it is because they never give their body the tools it needs to keep doing this work. And those tools, again and again, are hidden in food. Think about cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, kale, and Brussels sprouts. These are carbohydrates, yet they contain compounds that activate enzymes inside your body that detoxify carcinogens, making them powerless. Or consider tomatoes, rich in natural carotenoids, which not only reduce inflammation but make your cells more resistant to damage. Or even green tea, a simple drink, yet loaded with polyphenols that stop cancer cells from signaling to each other, leaving them isolated and vulnerable. These are not exotic remedies. They are everyday foods, ordinary on the surface, extraordinary when you understand what they are doing inside your biology. But here's the psychological trap that holds most people back. Because these foods are so ordinary, people dismiss them. They think it can't be that simple. If healing were that easy, everyone would know. And that doubt becomes a barrier. That disbelief creates paralysis. But the truth is often hidden in plain sight. Sometimes the greatest power comes not from something rare or complicated, but from the simple things we overlook every day. The question you must ask yourself is this: have I been overlooking the medicine sitting on my plate? Philosophically, this asks us to confront the way we value what is right in front of us. Human beings have a tendency to chase what seems extraordinary, what seems rare, what seems hidden far away, while ignoring the everyday tools that are within arm's reach. But health, resilience, healing are not mysteries locked away in secret vaults. They are woven into the very fabric of nature. the apple hanging on the tree, the leaves steeped in hot water, the grains growing in the soil. These are not accidents. They are blueprints. They are instructions for survival, placed within reach, waiting for you to recognize their value. And when you realize this, something remarkable happens. You stop feeling helpless. You stop feeling that cancer holds all the power. You begin to understand that your daily choices, your meals, your habits are levers you can pull to shift the balance. This understanding is not just biological. It is deeply psychological. Because when you act with knowledge, you replace fear with purpose. You stop asking, why me? And begin asking, what can I do today to strengthen my body? That question transforms despair into action. Deeper truth here is that food is more than survival. It is connection. Every bite you take is a connection to the earth, processes of nature, to the design of life itself. Cancer wants to sever that connection. It wants you isolated, dependent, believing you have no power. But food reconnects you. It reminds you that you are not separate from nature. You are part of it. And when you eat the right foods, you are aligning yourself with the wisdom that has been evolving for millions of years. So the choice becomes clear. You can eat in ignorance, allowing cancer to thrive in the shadows. Or you can eat in awareness, shining light into those shadows, stripping cancer of its tricks, exposing its weakness, and reclaiming control. This choice is not theoretical. It happens every time you lift a fork. It happens every time you walk into a grocery store. It happens every time you decide between what is processed and what is natural, what is artificial, and what is alive. And this is where I want to leave you with a single powerful reflection. Every meal is an act of creation. You are either creating strength or creating weakness. You are either creating defense or creating vulnerability. You are either creating life or creating the conditions for disease. The decision is always in your hands. And once you realize that, you'll never look at food the same way again.